Hello, welcome to the Women's Cave. Wow, we did that like together. And I think it's because it's like 1 a.m. here that we were just like, you know what? We don't have the time to be like, no, let's have a banter about it, right?
No, I was like, I don't feel like racing. I'll just follow her a syllable behind. You know,
Really?
since I'm old
You
and
just
slow
don't
now. I follow your lead, sweetheart.
Now
where are we
old
going?
And slow again.
Winona,
I'm gonna need you to give that up. My name is Jade.
Oh, and I'm Winona. Wow, we remember to introduce ourselves.
I know.
It's getting a little too professional here.
I know. I feel weird.
I feel like we might end up with like a 9 to 5 in a minute.
I mean, like a real show. Look, that would be crazy.
Oh my goodness,
I don't want it. Do you want it?
No, I definitely don't want it. But I do want my hair to lay down.
It's not gonna do it. It's 1 a.m.
Okay.
Our hair's not gonna lay down. It's like,
anyway,
we tired. The hair's tired. All right. So anyway, let's go talk about our literary life guides with pop poetry,
aka up today.
AKA.
Oh wait, grab it.
No. It's you're too loud. It's too late for you to be that loud in my ear. It's too late.
You're right.
All right. So yeah. So and I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons, and I thought being grown up was easy.
Both audiobooks.
Yeah. And I thought I did my journey alone, and if only I were me. Those are like the top 4, y'all. And actually, I just wanted to say, like, we wrapped a book today. It's not fully out, but we wrapped up a book today, and I am proud of us. High five on that one. Not even like yes, well, we did it.
It took us a week.
It did. It took us. Well, no, actually, it's been like sitting in my computer. And we're like, oh yeah, we should probably do the last edit, right? We should probably get that done. So that's what we've done. But yay, it might be out sometime. Yeah. And then we have the magazines, the 25 hottest indie authors, artists, and advocate, and the And I Thought Literary magazine. All right. So you can find out everything your ladies are doing. And I mean everything.
Things we wish we hadn't done.
I mean, truthfully, on www.andwethought.com. But y'all aren't here to hear about us.
No, you're not. You're here to hear about our wonderful guests, and we have an awesomely wonderful guest today. So, wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
So, hello to America, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning in America, but it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in Australia. And I'm Kevin Brophy, and I live in Melbourne, a city of 5 million people, where for nearly the last 3 months, we've been unable to go more than 5 kilometres from home. And I've spent most of the last 3 months here in my own home, sometimes going out for walks, but mostly staying at home. We're in a pretty severe lockdown here in Melbourne, hoping to get out of it by Christmas. So, yeah.
I'm going to have to Google what 5 kilometers is like.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like an American.
We write poetry. We don't do math.
Okay, so
I'm not sure how far 5 kilometers is about as far as you can walk in an hour. So we can walk an hour.
And considering that I tend to just ride in cars, so that's like,
it's 3.10 miles. Okay.
Good job, Google.
Oh, okay. Woo! So yay! See, Google is good for good.
No,
these things.
back.
So
Google's pretty fast.
Yeah. So wow, that's that's a lot. You haven't been able to go very far at all.
No. So my partner and I are longing to go to the countryside. Longing to go to a river and camp by a river, but it won't happen for another month or 2.
Really? Another month? Okay, so that like throws off my whole. So I'm gonna ask one question, and then I'm gonna ask the real ones that you wrote down. So what have you been doing to keep yourself like
sane
from not going off the wall?
Yes. Well, Jade, I suppose it's a matter of slowly going crazy, but if you can make it very slow, you might not be completely crazy by the end of it. I do a lot of cooking. I've done a lot of gardening. I've done a lot of reading, and I continue to fiddle around with poems because I don't have many skills in life. I can't fix a tap. I can't replace a window. I can't fix a car, but I can fiddle around with a poem and hopefully make a poem work every now and again. So that's probably the full extent of the skills I have in life.
I just love the way that he said he could fiddle around with a poem.
I like that.
With a poem.
I like it very
If
much.
I fiddled around with my poem, I'd be going insane quickly. Be like, what do you mean there's something else wrong? You need to stop reading it and nothing else will be wrong.
Oh my goodness. Winona is the best and worst all at the same time. Let me just say that. So we're talking about you fiddling around with poems.
Yes.
You have a new book coming out. What was your inspiration? What's the book title?
Well, I have a new book coming out, and the book's called In This Part of the World. And it's poems from all over the world. I suppose the inspiration for it has been traveling, and travel is another thing that used to happen in another universe that we dimly remember.
Yeah.
There was a time when I did go to the countryside and write poems about being in the countryside. There was a time when I visited Sicily, when I walked around the north of Italy and spent some time in Paris, and all those places get a look in these poems.
Nice.
I have a silly question. Although no questions are silly. You're a professor. You know that no questions are silly.
No, he knows the complete opposite of that. He knows it,
but
he doesn't say it. He doesn't say it, but he knows it.
I wish no answers were silly.
So who had better food, Paris or Sicily?
I love Italian food, so yes. It's always going to be Sicily for me, or Northern Italy. Paris is a bit too rich, too meaty. I just love the fresh produce in Italy.
Yes,
and the pasta.
I was really hoping you would say that. I feel so. On the inside, I feel validated.
You feel validation on the inside. Well, no, I can't.
That was not a silly question without a silly answer.
So, you've been doing this poetry thing for a while now. And you were the co-editor of the National Literary Journal. How did this happen, and did it help you with your own writing journey?
Well, I spent, and I don't know if I should be ashamed of this or proud of this, but I spent 10 years writing poems and stories that nobody would publish. I had a tremendous collection of rejection notes from journals. And I had another friend, I was in my early 20s then, I had another friend who was also a writer, and he was the only other writer in the world that I knew because, well, up until I met him, I thought that most authors were dead because most of the people whose books I read were dead. And we decided, and neither of us could get published, so we decided that we'd start up a journal and not necessarily publish ourselves, but publish all those other young writers whose work wasn't being published. So we started up a journal called Going Down Swinging. We spent a long time sorting out, we had a lot of fun, sorting out what we would call the journal. And Going Down Swinging seemed to describe both the pessimism we felt, and also it described the kind of writing we liked. Going Down Swinging was one of those journal titles that led to people sending us work or getting in touch with us because they thought we were a boxing journal. Some others thought we were swingers, and that we were. That
would have been interesting.
Yes. But eventually, most of the writers in Australia knew that it was a literary journal, so they were sensible enough to send us poems and stories.
I have to say, now they say that sex and violence sells, so I feel like they had like the perfect formula right there.
Well, yes.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and I love Going Down.
I love that. Yes. I really want to like rename this now. Do you have a trademark? I feel that my literary journal should be called Going Down Swinging.
Well, no, stop being hilarious.
No, thoughtfully swinging. Thoughtfully swinging.
Oh my Lord. I can't. It's too early or late, depending on how you look at it for this.
Some people thought we were a jazz journal.
Wow, I can see that too. I can see that. So I mean, well, that is actually how the 25 Hottest was born, and 25
you gonna
hottest
tell
indie
that story?
artists. And oh yeah, I'm gonna tell it because Winona was like, "Wait, I'm pretty cute. I should get on a hot authors list." Like, so where is it? And she like Googles it, and it's like all these dead people, and she's like, "Wait, what? I don't understand."
I'm cuter than them. They're bones and dust.
And the bones and dust. I don't
Exactly.
understand what the world. And then, of course, we came out with the 25 hottest indie authors, artists, and Advocate magazine, and that means we can never be on the cover of it.
Yeah, that was my whole
So,
goal
yeah.
was to get
And
on
it's
a cover.
really not about people being like pretty or cute. It's really about people burning up the field and what they're doing. So again, never gonna be on the cover.
I feel like we should swing this back around to you, Mr. Brophy, because I mean, obviously, this is your interview, which means there's a no pressure question coming up. Could you be in our magazine? Moving on. What was the third question?
Well, no, what?
It's the Calibre Prize. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you won the Calibre Prize. What is that prize, and what did you win it for?
Yeah, I suppose one of the things about my writing is I shamelessly write about my life. I write about my family, and I write about my street. And I say shamelessly because, you know, I've written about my children, and I've written about people I know, and I've written down the stories that my friends have told me that I don't think they even ever imagined were material for fiction.
That was their fault. They talked to a writer.
They talked to a writer. I think that should be the thing. Like, if you talk to me, know that it may or may not end up in a book.
Yes.
And the details may or may not be stretched out to like something that you're like, I don't remember telling you that didn't happen. I'd be like, it's okay, it's fiction, it's fine, it doesn't have to happen.
So we lived in a very quiet street, but we just happened to have very violent neighbours who terrorised us for about 10 years, and to the point where they were throwing bricks through our windows, and knocking on the front door and saying to us, "We know where your children live, so be careful." And these are our neighbours who live next door to us. And I think I became, I had that kind of stress that you have from a war experience. My heart would start beating each time I came into my street, to my home, beating madly, wondering what they were going to be doing next. And then one day I was standing in my driveway or at my front door, and I noticed one of the neighbours out in the street, and he turned to me and he said, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this in the interview, but you can cut it out if you need to. He said to me, "What are you looking at, you fucking dog?" And I thought, what a beautiful musical phrase that is. What a wonderful, it has a rhythm to it. "What are you looking at, you fucking dog?" And I thought, he's given me a gift with that phrase. So I wrote that phrase at the top of a page and began writing the story of our conflict with these neighbours, and the story of, I suppose, violence in a city and how violence works in our society. And when I got to the end of that essay, I didn't know what to do with it. But there happened to be a competition for essays. So I sent it in, knowing that they would never give me they would never publish it, and they would never give me a prize because of the title, because the essay was called, "What are you looking at, you fucking dog?" But they did give me the prize, and they did publish it, and they didn't censor it, which was quite wonderful of them.
Well, there you go.
I'm over here with the silly questions again. What did you wear? Because I mean, I am a lady after all. I have to ask.
What did I wear when?
To get the prize.
I wore a jacket.
And pants, I hope.
Yeah, so that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Well, we'd be like, and then I pulled out the special makeup that I only reserved for, and then but I wore a jacket. Yeah, that's about right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had my jeans on.
Oh, really?
Oh, so that makes it ultra cool then.
Yeah.
It's a jacket and jeans.
Yeah.
So you're a cool poet.
Yeah, I like it.
Because you're a writer, you can get away with jacket and jeans.
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna do that next time.
Well, I mean, unless you do it like I did and have ripped jeans, and then people look at you just a little strange. But it doesn't matter. Still nice.
I was over the moon at winning the prize, and at work that day, I thought I would treat myself to a lunch. So I was on the university campus, and I went to the student union and bought some Asian food, and then sat in a lovely little park on campus and had the Asian food. And then a couple of hours later, I came down with food poisoning. So I had this headache. I felt nauseous. I could barely stand up, but I still had to go to the prize giving. So it was a very strange night for me. And then there was a dinner after the prize giving, and I could not eat one thing at the dinner because I was so sick. So it was both a very happy occasion for me, but also a very strange and hallucinatory kind of experience, being that sick at such a tremendous occasion.
Yeah, that
Jade knows a lot about that.
I do.
About food poisoning.
No, about being ill.
Being ill. I'd like literally
being ill on tour or being ill while accepting prizes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She was sick for like 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
I have chronic bronchitis, right? So I kept getting bronchitis, but we still were on tour and we still had stuff to do. So I would show up to places with like a low grade fever and just be like, don't mind me. I'm going to sweat a lot. Don't mind me. I'm fine. I just have bronchitis. And they're like looking at you like, you just have what? You need to be home. No. This book isn't going to sell itself. Like, I have to show up. It's not gonna sell. But okay, I do have a question about you writing. Have you always been a writer, or did it like just dawn on you later in life? Like, what happened? How did you become a writer?
Yeah, that's I've asked myself that question many times because it's not a very clever career decision. There is very little money comes the way of poets or even fiction writers for that matter. I came from a family of 9 children, and I was the second oldest in that family. So for most of my childhood, the family was growing, and there was always, every year or so, there was a new baby coming along, which would make the household even more chaotic. So I think one of the ways I coped was to get inside a book, to get into a corner of the house, get inside a book and forget about this crazy family that never stopped expanding in this tiny house. And books opened up a universe for me, opened up worlds and worlds, Russian novels, French novels, British novels, that world of poetry. So
American, right?
Yeah, he didn't say American.
No American novels. Keep going.
I did read American novels. I read a lot of American novels.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was meant to be a joke.
Okay, so you got inside the book. Yeah, getting inside books are always a great way to go. I love it.
So having done that, I thought, having read all those books, I thought I'd like to do that too. I'd like to write.
Oh, that's interesting.
So then you just started
at a younger age?
Yeah, I started as a teenager writing poetry, and very shyly I showed it to a few people who said, "We've got no idea what you're trying to say. We can't understand a word you're writing."
Well, so, that's good. All my professors tell me that's the best kind of poetry.
Yeah, apparently.
So you have an event coming up soon. What is the event, and
how can people get there?
How can people get there? How can they join?
So the event is a book launch, and the launch is the launch of this new book in this part of the world, and it's happening on the 15th of October, and it's happening in Melbourne at 6:30 at night in Melbourne, and I'm not quite sure what time that will be. That'll be about breakfast time for you, I think. That'd be
7:30. Yeah, I guess.
No, that'd be about 3 o'clock in the morning for you.
Yeah, it'll be like 3 a.m.
Oh no, we can't be there. I got a ticket, but I might not be
That's
there. My bedtime.
Yeah, 3.
I go to bed at 3.
Yeah. Well, it was like the writing juice ends at 3 o'clock. I gotta be like.
What are you joking? Before I got on this, I finished out my script.
She did. So high five on that one.
Anyway, okay, I'm sorry. Can you tell us more?
So there is a Zoom connection and you've got it.
Yes.
So you could broadcast it if you want to, but I doubt that anyone in America will be hanging around at 3 a.m. in the morning in order to listen to poetry.
This is the year of COVID. No
It
one's
is.
going anywhere. Who's going anywhere?
More than 3 miles. I mean, we can hop a plane, but we're still not going.
You're not going anywhere. You're like, people are like, at the time of COVID, my bedtime is now midnight. Like I used to go to bed at 9:30. Now it's midnight.
So you can come to Melbourne at 3 a.m. in the morning.
There it is. So where can people find tickets, find out more about you?
If you Google Brunswick Bound Bookshop, Brunswick Bound is the local bookshop just around the corner from my home, and they're going to be the hosts of the launch. So they'll have the details on how to book a ticket to the launch. Brunswick Bound Bookshop.
I'm glad they're within that 5 kilometers. Like
They are.
I am so happy. At least you have a bookstore. You can't go anywhere else, but the bookstore is important.
Yes.
Is there a restaurant? Please tell me there's a restaurant, because I can't imagine living without a book and a restaurant.
The bookshop doesn't have a restaurant, but there are restaurants up and down the street.
Oh.
Lots of restaurants in Brunswick, but the restaurants are mostly closed now, and they've been closed since March. It's a very sad situation for us here in Melbourne. We've had 2 major lockdowns to try to keep the COVID-19 under control.
Yeah. Well, that is like the defining thing of 2020. I think is COVID-19, and we are all like, okay, let's figure out a new way.
Well, I have to say, never mind. I'll say that after we finish recording.
Because you know what? It's almost 1:30, so we should probably wrap it up. So can you tell us where people can buy your book when it comes out, and if you have a website where people can get in touch with you?
Okay, I don't have a website, and I apologize for that.
You're a professor, you don't need a website, you have a university.
But if you go to Brunswick Bound Bookshop, Google Brunswick Bound Bookshop, they'll be able to sell you my books.
Fabulous.
And he has a lot of them.
Y'all, so please.
They have a lot of them, and they can put them in the post.
There it is. There it is. So y'all, please go check it out. Please go find his books. I mean, we love a fellow poet on the show, so please support the fellow poet of ours. And I guess I'll just go ahead.
And it's not pop poetry, so definitely support him.
It's real traditional poetry, y'all. All right.
Would you like to wrap
Absolutely. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, take a moment, go down to in the page and see the wonderful things we have going on the homepage. But more importantly than all of that, please take a moment and go over to the ladies tab, go down to the middle and see the charities that we proudly support. And I will just take this time to remind you that now is October and it's Domestic Violence Month. So please try to reach out to Powerful Beginnings. And I know 2020 is a thing. People really don't have, as they would say, money is funny, and we understand. So if you don't have money to give to the charities, that's okay. Maybe you can donate time or just the things that they need, because they need things. Yeah. And if you don't have that, that's okay too. Just add them on social media and tell them thank you for doing this wonderful work in the world, because we all can use a little encouragement to continue to do our work.
I'm a narcissist and I need encouragement.
She doesn't need encouragement, but they do. All right, so wow, this is super professional. Maybe we should do all our interviews at 1 a.m.
No,
right?
It's the fact that we have a traditional poet in the house.
Yeah, I think maybe
that's somber mood.
Somber. We got it. We're gonna do it. Okay, so anyway, with that being said, y'all remember that wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. Peace and love, you guys, from Winona. I messed up finally.
And Jade.
Bye.
Bye. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.